Where is the defense lawyer?
If we lose, I lose $600 million. I can do this.
Miss, are you the attorney representing Marcus Hale?
The courtroom went dead quiet when the judge looked up and said, "Where's the defense lawyer?" Every eye turned to the empty chair beside the billionaire. The chair was supposed to belong to Charles Whitman, the most feared lawyer in New York, the man who never lost. The man paid $50 million just to show up, but the chair was empty. Instead, standing there with shaking hands, was a young intern. Her name was Alyssa Carter. She swallowed hard as the judge's gavel hovered in the air. "Miss," the judge said slowly, "are you the attorney representing Marcus Hale?" Alyssa's heart slammed against her chest. Marcus Hale, the tech billionaire worth over $2.4 billion, was about to lose $600 million in one single ruling. And everyone knew one thing. If this trial started without Charles Whitman, Marcus Hale was finished. Alyssa opened her mouth to speak. And that was when the judge said the words that could destroy everything. Court will proceed in 30 seconds. A gasp ripped through the room. Marcus Hale turned to Alyssa, his eyes dark with panic. 30 seconds. 30 seconds before $600 million vanished forever. And Alyssa Carter was just an intern. She had never argued a case in her life. Hold up. This story is about to get wild. If you love intense courtroom drama, tap like right now. Subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter, and comment the country you're watching from. Trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. Alyssa Carter woke up at 4:30 a.m. in her tiny apartment in Brooklyn, New York. The heater didn't work. The floor was cold, and her alarm buzzed like it hated her. She rolled out of bed and stared at the ceiling. "Just an intern," she whispered to herself. "Just observe. Don't speak." That was the rule. Alyssa had grown up in South Chicago, raised by a single mom who cleaned offices at night. Law school felt like a miracle. Getting an internship at Whitman and Cross felt impossible. And now she was working for Charles Whitman himself. The legend, the shark, the man who scared judges. Today was the biggest trial of the year. Marcus Hale versus the Federal Trade Commission. If Marcus lost, he would pay $600 million in penalties and possibly lose control of his company. Everyone said it was a sure win. Why? Because Charles Whitman never missed a trial. Ever. Alyssa dressed fast, grabbed her notes, and ran for the subway. She didn't know this would be the last normal moment of her day. Alyssa arrived early like always. She expected to see Charles Whitman already there, drinking black coffee, reviewing documents. But his office door was closed. That was strange. At 8:25 a.m., she checked again. Still closed. At 8:40 a.m., panic started to crawl into her stomach. She pulled out her phone and texted him, "Good morning, Mr. Whitman. Just checking if you're on your way to the courthouse." No reply. At 8:55 a.m., the office assistant rushed in. "Alyssa," she said, voice tight, "have you heard from Mr. Whitman?" Alyssa shook her head slowly. The assistant's face went pale. "His phone is off." That's when Alyssa felt it. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Pause for a second. If you were in Alyssa's shoes right now, what would you do? Comment, run, or stay below. And don't forget to share this video with someone who loves tense stories like this. Black cars lined the street. Reporters crowded the steps. Cameras flashed as Marcus Hale stepped out his car, calm but serious. His tailored suit couldn't hide the tension in his jaw. "A win today," a reporter shouted. Marcus nodded once. Justice always wins. But when he entered the courthouse and didn't see Charles Whitman, his step slowed. "Alyssa," he said quietly, pulling her aside. "Where's Whitman?" Alyssa's mouth went dry. I don't know, sir." Marcus stared at her. Then he laughed once. "Short, sharp, that's not funny." "I'm not joking," she whispered. Marcus turned toward the empty hallway. The clock on the wall read 9:27 a.m. Court started at 9:30. The courtroom was packed. Investors, lawyers, journalists. Everyone waited for Charles Whitman to walk in and crush the case like always. But the door stayed shut. The judge entered. "Where's Mr. Whitman?" The judge asked. Silence. Alyssa stood slowly, her knees weak. Your Honor, she said, her voice barely steady. Mr. Whitman has been delayed. The judge raised an eyebrow. Delayed? Yes, sir. How long? Alyssa hesitated. I don't know. Murmurs spread across the room. The opposing lawyer smiled. The judge sighed. Young lady, he said, are you licensed to argue this case? Alyssa's heart stopped. No, Your Honor. The judge leaned back. This court will not wait all day. Marcus Hale leaned close to her and whispered through clenched teeth. If we lose this trial, I lose $600 million. His voice softened. And I lose everything I built. Alyssa's hand shook. This is the moment everything changes. If you're feeling this pressure, tap like so YouTube knows this story deserves to be seen. And subscribe, because what happens next is unbelievable. At 9:29 a.m., Alyssa tried calling Charles Whitman one last time. Straight to voicemail. She checked the news. Nothing. Hospitals. Nothing. Then a thought hit her like ice water. She remembered something from last night. Charles had been angry. Very angry. I don't like this case, he had said. Something feels off. Alyssa had laughed nervously then. Now she wasn't laughing. The judge lifted his gavel. If Mr. Whitman does not appear, he said, the court will... Wait. The word slipped out of Alyssa's mouth before she could stop it. Every head turned toward her. The judge frowned. Young lady? Alyssa's heart pounded so loud she thought the room could hear it. I can speak, she said. Marcus snapped his head toward her. What? He whispered. I know the case. Alyssa said louder now. I helped prepare it. The courtroom erupted in whispers. The judge studied her. You are an intern. Yes, Your Honor. And you want to what, improvise? Alyssa took a deep breath. No, she said. I want to defend this case. Marcus grabbed her arm. Are you insane? He hissed. If she failed, she wouldn't just lose the case. She would destroy her career forever. The judge looked at the clock. 9:30 a.m. Then he looked back at Alyssa. Miss Carter, he said slowly, if you proceed, there will be no delay, no mercy. Alyssa nodded. I understand. The judge raised the gavel. Very well, he said. The court recognizes Alyssa Carter as acting counsel. The gavel slammed. And just like that, an intern was now responsible for saving $600 million. Alyssa opened her notes. Her hands stopped shaking, because buried deep inside those papers was something Charles Whitman never noticed. And if she was right, this case was about to flip upside down. The opposing lawyer stood up and smiled. Let's begin, he said. Alyssa looked up, and that's when she realized they had no idea what she knew. Don't move. If you think Alyssa is about to shock everyone, comment, she got this right now. The opposing lawyer stood slowly. His name was Daniel Royce. Silver hair, calm smile, and a reputation for destroying weak opponents before lunch. He adjusted his cufflinks and looked straight at Alyssa. Well, he said smoothly, this should be interesting. A few people laughed quietly. Alyssa felt every eye in the room on her. She stood up, clutching her notes. Her legs wanted to give out, but she forced them to stay still. The judge nodded. Mr. Royce, you may proceed. Quick pause. This is where the pressure really starts. If you believe Alyssa doesn't belong here, but still want to see what happens, hit like right now. And if you're enjoying this story, subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Also, comment your country. Let's see how far these stories is reaching. Daniel Royce began confidently. Your Honor, he said, pacing slowly. This case is simple. Marcus Hale used illegal market control to crush smaller companies. The evidence is clear. Emails, contracts, numbers. He turned toward the jury. This is not about innovation. This is about greed. Murmurs rippled through the room. Alyssa listened carefully. Her eyes moved fast over the documents in front of her. She remembered Charles Whitman saying, Royce always starts strong. Let him. Daniel finished and sat down, smiling. Defense. The judge said, Your turn. Alyssa stood. She took one deep breath. Your Honor, she said, voice calm. Before we begin, I request permission to adjust the order of evidence. Daniel raised an eyebrow. The judge frowned. On what grounds? Clarity, Alyssa said. The court deserves to see the full picture. Daniel laughed softly. This intern wants to rewrite procedure? The judge hesitated, then nodded. Granted, but be brief. Marcus Hale leaned back in his chair. His face was unreadable. Alyssa stepped forward. Mr. Royce showed emails, Alyssa said, but not the full chain. She clicked a button. A new email appeared on the screen. A date flashed clearly. 6 months earlier. This email, Alyssa continued, was sent before the regulation Mr. Royce claims was violated. Daniel's smile faded, just a little. She clicked again. Another email. Another date. Another pause in the courtroom. These communications show intent to comply with the law, not break it. Daniel stood up quickly. Objection. Misinterpretation. The judge raised a hand. Let her continue. Alyssa felt a spark of confidence. She saw Daniel glance toward his team. Something wasn't right. Did you catch that shift? If you think Alyssa just landed her first hit, comment UHOH below. And don't forget to share this video. Someone out there loves courtroom drama, just like this. Daniel stepped forward. Miss Carter, he said, tone sharp now, are you aware that those emails were already reviewed? Yes, Alyssa replied, but not correctly. She turned another page. And here's why. She zoomed in on a small line of text. A footnote. A legal reference. This clause, Alyssa said, was added after the email was sent. Using it against my client is legally impossible. The room went silent. The judge leaned forward. Daniel opened his mouth, then closed it. Marcus Hale sat up straighter. For the first time that day, his eyes lit up during a short recess. Marcus pulled Alyssa aside. Where did you learn that? He whispered. I reviewed the files last night, she said. Something felt off. Marcus studied her face. You're not just an intern, are you? Before she could answer, the bailiff called him back. As Alyssa returned to her seat, she noticed something strange. Daniel Royce was sweating. Just a little. If you're feeling this tension, smash that like button. It helps this story reach more people and keeps these stories growing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time. Back in session, Daniel changed tactics. Your Honor, he said, even if those emails are dismissed, the financial impact is undeniable. He presented charts, graphs, big red numbers. $600 million in damage, he said firmly. Alyssa watched closely. She noticed something again. A mismatch. A date that didn't line up. She stood quickly. Permission to question the data source? Daniel hesitated. The judge nodded. Proceed. Alyssa approached the screen. These numbers, she said, come from a third-party audit. Yes, Daniel said. A certified one. Alyssa smiled slightly. And that audit was revised. This is the older version. Gasps filled the room. Daniel slammed his hand on the table. That's impossible. Alyssa clicked again. A newer report appeared. Same company. Different conclusion. This version shows losses at $120 million, not $600 million. The judge's face hardened. Mr. Royce, he said coldly, why was this not disclosed? Daniel's mouth opened. Nothing came out. This is getting serious now. If you think Daniel is in trouble, comment checkmate. And remember to subscribe. As the court buzzed, Alyssa glanced at her phone. One missed call. Unknown number. Then a text came in. You weren't supposed to be there. Her heart skipped. She looked up. Across the room, someone in the gallery stood and walked out. Alyssa's stomach tightened. What did that mean? Back on record. The judge spoke. This court is disturbed by the inconsistencies presented today. Daniel Royce looked shaken now. But then he smiled. A slow, dangerous smile. Your Honor, he said, if we're revealing hidden facts, then perhaps it's time we reveal who Miss Carter really is. Alyssa froze. What do you mean? The judge asked. Daniel turned toward her. Miss Carter, he said calmly. Care to explain your connection to the whistleblower in this case? The courtroom exploded into noise. Marcus Hale turned sharply toward her. Whistleblower, he whispered. Alyssa's blood ran cold. Because Daniel Royce was right. There was a connection. And if it came out now, everything she just saved could be destroyed. The judge slammed the gavel. Order, he shouted. Then he looked straight at Alyssa. Miss Carter, he said slowly, answer the question. Alyssa opened her mouth, and the screen behind her suddenly changed. A new document appeared, one she had never uploaded. At the top, in bold letters, were the words, Confidential Statement, Whistleblower. Alyssa stared at it in horror, because only one person could have put that on the screen, and that person knew exactly how to ruin her. The judge leaned forward. Court will hear an explanation, he said. Alyssa felt the room spinning. If she spoke, she could lose everything. If she stayed silent, Marcus Hale could lose $600 million. And the worst part? Charles Whitman still hadn't shown up. Stop right here. If you think this secret is about to flip the entire case, comment and away right now. The courtroom felt like it stopped breathing. Alyssa stared at the screen. Confidential Statement, Whistleblower. Her name wasn't on it, but the truth was. The judge's voice cut through the noise. Miss Carter, he said calm but firm. Explain. Alyssa took one slow breath. Then she spoke. Before this explodes, tap like right now. If you've come this far, subscribe so you don't miss stories like this again, and comment where you're watching from. All right, let's finish this. Yes, Your Honor, Alyssa said. I know the whistleblower. Gasps filled the room. Marcus Hale stood up. Alyssa. She raised a hand gently. Please, let me finish. She faced the judge. The whistleblower is a former FTC analyst. He found proof that this case was built using altered data and withheld audits. Daniel Royce jumped up. Objection. She's deflecting. The judge slammed the gavel. Sit down. Alyssa clicked her remote. Another document appeared. This, she said, is the original audit. Time-stamped. Verified. It proves the damage was exaggerated from $120 million to $600 million. The courtroom erupted. The judge leaned in, eyes sharp. Who altered it? Alyssa looked straight at Daniel Royce. He did, she said. And so, did the agency lawyer who approved it. Daniel's face drained of color. Did you see that coming? If this twist shocked you, comment, wow, and share this video with someone who loves real drama. Just then, the courtroom doors burst open. Every head turned. Charles Whitman walked in, tie loose, face bruised. Sorry I'm late, he said. I was detained. The judge stood. Mr. Whitman, this court will... I know, Whitman said quickly. And Miss Carter just saved this case. He turned to the judge. She's right. We submitted those findings to the ethics board last night. The judge's face hardened. Bailiff, he said, hold Mr. Royce in counsel for investigation. Daniel backed away. Too late. After a short break, the judge returned. This court finds a claim of $600 million damages to be false, he said. All penalties are dismissed. Marcus Hale closed his eyes, then exhaled. Saved. $600 million. Gone from the table. The gavel slammed. Case dismissed. If you love stories where the underdog wins, smash like and subscribe right now. This is exactly what these stories is all about. Outside the courthouse, Marcus stopped Alyssa. You saved me, he said quietly. What do you want? Alyssa smiled. A chance, she said. Charles Whitman stepped forward. You're not an intern anymore, he said. You're a lawyer. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. And Alyssa Carter, who walked in scared and unnoticed, walked out as a woman who saved $600 million. Final question for you. Do you think Alyssa deserved that win? Comment yes or absolutely. And don't forget, subscribe for more powerful stories like this.